Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews, coming at you guys with my review for the series premiere of Yellowstone. Alright, so I got to check out this premiere on Paramount Network on Wednesday, I believe it was. So, yeah, June 20th, so Wednesday, and today's Friday. So, yeah, I mean, you know, pretty underrated show, I would say. It didn't get a lot of attention. I watched it on the Paramount Network website because I don't even know how to go about, viewing it on the channel personally, but, you know, maybe some people, watch the Paramount Network on a TV channel. I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyways, that's how I saw it, and I suggest that's how it was really easy. You just go on, press play. That's for me that was pretty much it. So that was good. But yeah, no, I just felt like this one kind of went under the radar a little bit. Paramount Network, not really known for having a lot of big shows or anything like that, being kind of a big channel or a big, outlet. And for this one, to be on here, a pretty big time show, right? A pretty big show. It's pretty, spectacular for Paramount Network. So they deserve a lot of credit. Getting Taylor Sheridan got roped in here and putting the show on Paramount Network. So, and I also read an article that the premiere for this on Wednesday night actually brought in the most viewers for Paramount Network in like its history. So that was pretty awesome too, right? And I only think they're gonna go up from this. I think Paramount Network's working on some more things as well. I just heard an announcement within that article. They said like, and due to this, and they're also having another new series this summer come out. I'm not sure the name of it exactly. I don't remember. But, if that comes out, that does well. So, Paramount Network's doing some good things here. Are they anywhere close to network TV or AMC or something like that? No. But could they be in the next couple of years? Maybe, right? If they keep, doing stuff like this. So, just give a lot of credit to them for picking this up. So Yellowstone it's called. And this one has been on my radar for about 2 weeks or so. I figured it out. Just kind of browsing around. And this is actually the first show on my summer TV schedule, which I will be releasing in Let's Talk Television tomorrow, Saturday. And that is the start of season 2 of Let's Talk Television. I'll talk more about that in the episode and how, it's season 2 and the new things, making some improvements and everything like that. So, in that one, I'll explain all that. But yeah, so I should be talking about the summer TV schedule. And this one was the first check on the list, pretty much, right? It was the first show on June 20th here. And, overall, I mean, I went in with kind of high expectations. Taylor Sheridan, Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner starring in it, of course, the lead role. Pretty big names. They garner, a little bit of an expectation. And overall, I would say my expectations were pretty much met. I mean, for the most part, more or less, they were met, but nothing much more than that, right? So that's, kind of my general thing I'm just going to put out there first. But other than that, I'm going to share some thoughts about the series, some just kind of main points here that I noticed that I want to point out. I'm going to talk briefly spoilers, but nothing that will ruin it. So, you go back and say, oh, that guy spoiled it for me. Now it's not as good. I don't think that's going to happen, but I will talk a little bit about like relationships between characters, characters' names, stuff like that. A couple of events that happened in the episode, but nothing that hasn't been like revealed in trailers or sneak peeks or anything like that. And by the way, I think the trailer for it, or at least the one that I watched, showed a little bit too much, just because it kind of ruined a couple scenes in it for me. In this premiere. So, and another thing to note is that some places are calling the premiere a 2-episode back-to-back airing. So they're saying that episode 1 and 2 were aired on Wednesday night. But then some sources also are saying that it was just episode 1, it was just a long episode 1, and that episode 2 is coming next week. So I still don't have confirmation on which it is. Honestly, I've seen the same amount of sites and sources like IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes saying, that episode 1 and 2 both aired, and that it was just a long episode 1. So I'm really confused about that. I honestly can't give an answer, but I guess we'll figure it out next week. I don't know. I guess we'll figure it out and see. Okay, well, I guess this is episode 2 or whatever, right? Because I don't think every episode's going to be an hour and a half long. This was an hour and a half long. Like, not like no commercial, like it was an hour and a half without commercials. So I guess a 2-hour premiere. So it was pretty long, but some places are saying that, okay, no, that was just episode 1. So Again, we'll have to see. And episode one's called Daybreak, and the second one is called, I think, Kill the Messenger. I think that's what it's called. So yeah. So anyways, just go over a few things now and talk about it. So Western fans, Taylor Sheridan fans, they'll check this out and they're gonna love this. I mean, it really caters towards that audience, that kind of specific group here that they're trying to play to. You're gonna really enjoy it. I mean, I don't see anything in this that would turn these kind of fans off. I really, really do think it's going to be very enjoyable for those type of people. But, on the other hand, then, fans who aren't, really big fans and don't appreciate Taylor Sheridan's work the same way as others, people that maybe aren't as big as fans of Western movies, Western TV shows and films and stuff, which I would put myself into that category. I've never seen anything that Taylor Sheridan has done before. In Westerns, I mean, I like Westworld, but I wouldn't call that like a full-blown Western, right? So for sure, I mean, for those people who aren't in that kind of category, I think you're going to judge it a little bit more. Maybe you don't like it. But for people who are in that audience, I mean, you're going to love this. This is just a great overall, just masterpiece by Taylor Sheridan in this one. So she's really great for this type of show. And I think, as long as she keeps doing these shows and movies like this, she's going to have a great career. She already has, but, it's going to get better. But anyways, my next point is going to be the performances. So, great performance from Kevin Costner. He steals the show. Now, granted, he does get the most screen time out of any, actor or actress on the show in the premiere, and he will continue to be in, the rest of the series. But he did a really, really great job. I thought, he had a scene where, I'm not going to spoil it, but he's pretty emotional in this scene, and I really bought it. Like, Kevin Costner made it believable, even though the writing was a little bit maybe, here and there for this type of scene, like the whole way it played out. But him in that scene, it was just him on screen, and he's, emotional and even, breaking down in tears. And it was such a believable scene. So Kevin Costner did a really great job. And also, I'd like to note Luke Grimes, who plays his estranged son, Corey, his name is. Luke Grimes did an amazing job, I think, as well. I think, now, the other cast, I don't know. I feel like they kind of just showed up to set, they gave a performance, and then they went home. But these two guys in particular, more than the other cast, did a really awesome job. Luke Grimes did a great job, and his character, I think, is going to play a bigger part as the show goes forward. He wasn't in much of this premiere. Well, he was. No, that might be wrong. He was in he was in a fair amount of it, but I think he's going to be like a really, really big character going forward, and I think Luke Grimes is ready for it. I think he gives an amazing performance in this episode, so he did really good. But again, the other cast, here and there, right? I mean, they did well. Wes Bentley was pretty good in his role, but nothing special, like nothing that you would say, okay, the cast in the show is amazing. Like, I don't think nothing like that, but Kevin Costner and Luke Grimes did a really great job, specifically. So, the scenery and the visuals were breathtaking, as I thought they would be, and I honestly expected that, and it really came, it probably, it was more than my expectations, probably. It met them and then some. Honestly, I mean, just awesome stuff for Western fans. Everything looks so realistic, and it flowed seamlessly. Like, a bunch of them wearing cowboy hats and jeans, right? Riding horses around. Like, it just felt really, really good, or not really good, really realistic, right? And you just kind of, like, you felt like you were submerged into this kind of, way of life that they had, and the way that they, the way that it was all portrayed in the show. And honestly, the visuals were insane. I mean, now I heard some people, like, complaining that, because pretty much in between, like, every scene, they had, like, a really nice visual, it looked like from, like, a drone of, like, the land in Montana, right? The ranch, right, the Dutton Zone. And so some people were complaining that it was, like, a little bit too saturated with these shots, but honestly, all these shots were amazing. Just really great stuff. There wasn't any moment in the episode where you were like, oh, well, that doesn't really belong, right? Like, it was really, really good. The Taylor Sheridan, I think she directed and Wow. She directed and wrote this episode. So she did a really great job in direction as well. One thing I will say, though, is the premiere was a little long. Now, whether it was 2 episodes back to back or just 1 episode, it doesn't really change. Like, it was still a little long. I was really hooked in for the first 30 to 40 minutes. Like, I was glued to the screen. I was really, invested in it. I was in this world, I was feeling, for the characters, understanding what they were going through and all that. And then after like about 40 to 45 minutes, I was like, I don't know, the show just kind of seemed to slow down a lot. Like, a lot of that momentum that they had in the first little bit, the first half, I would say, of the premiere, just really dropped. I don't know why. I'm not sure what it was, but this is how it went for me, at least. Maybe not everyone would feel this way, but it just really slowed down a lot until the very last, like, 20 minutes of the episode, when this big event happens, and then everything kind of, goes crazy after that. Again, I'm not going to spoil it, but it is a very big event that is very significant to the family and a lot of, basically every character in the show. Until then, though, that time in between was like, I don't know, I was pretty tired when I was watching it, in fairness, but I was like, not gonna fall asleep, but it was like kind of like that. Like, I was really bored with it, and I was like even thinking about turning it off. Honestly, like, I think it was just the momentum was really great at the beginning, introducing all these characters and everything happening, and then just in that middle part, it just slowed down a little bit too much for me, and it just was really boring. So, and then they ignited that at the end there, which was good. You kind of need a big event like that to kind of spark the series. But yeah, so that's my opinion there. So in saying that, I think an hour premiere would have been more appropriate. Just because I think, like I said, I think it was just too long of an episode to keep a viewer interested, interacting with the episode, and that's something you need in the premiere, right? Like, you can have that a few episodes down the road, but at premiere, you need the audience, you need them hooked and glued to the screen at all times, right, for them to keep checking it out. So that's me there. I thought it was a great representation of the sort of Aboriginal or Native American versus Americans, like the white American, kind of landowners, right? The land dispute issues. I thought it was honestly a really great representation of this. And I saw some people voicing their concerns about this a little bit as well, and they were saying how, oh, well, the trailers kind of make it seem like, all the Duttons, all they're, entitled, white Americans who, and they don't pay much attention to the Aboriginals or the Native Americans in the show. But that is, the most wrong, that is the most wrong thing about the show. They do a really great job in displaying both sides to the story. Because they show a lot of the native side of it, and they do that by putting Corey, who's John Dutton's son, within that kind of group, right, within that kind of side, so they're able to kind of show both sides to this dispute, and like, because they do that, it's really, really great. So I think the people who are out there saying, oh, well, it's not very it's not a very good job of representing both sides and understanding the motives of the natives, I think that's the most wrong thing about the show. I think they do an amazing job of that. And you really get this idea that the Duttons will do anything to keep what is theirs, but so will the Native community as well. So it creates a lot of tension here and a lot of drama. Everyone is kind of sticking to what they want, and they're going to do anything to get that. And so to have, the Native community, the Duttons, but also the land developers too. So, like, everyone's coming together, and it's just a lot of tension here. And that's what's really creating all this drama and making the show really entertaining. So, really great job there. And I think that's a very important point, like I said. I think that's the most, mistaken thing that you could say about the show, is that they don't do an accurate job of representing, the Native American side of it. They do a really great job if you actually watch the premiere. So, and I do think that the premiere felt more like a movie, with the amazing cinematography, the length, and just the whole story that was told within that 1.5 hours. Like, and that's another thing too. Honestly, I don't know. The series in general, okay, yeah, it's kind of cool, it's entertaining, TV is where it's at right now, so I understand it all, but I really think that this whole story, the way that Taylor Sheridan and the writers are kind of going at this, the perspective that they're taking, it really could have been turned into like a 2-hour movie. And I think it would have done it just as much justice as a TV show would. So that's my opinion there. Just this premiere felt like a movie. Like it was that, that the quality was that good and everything, and the length of it, and just everything that took place. Like there was a lot of changes within the first minute to the last minute of this show, of this episode. Like it was crazy. All this stuff that had happened in 1.5 hours. So, to take that, now, I don't know. I mean, are people going to like it more if there's a 10 episode series? I'm sure they would, right? 10 hours is always better than 2 hours in most cases. But yeah, no, that's something I think to note, though, going forward. I think I'm going to check out the next couple episodes for sure, just kind of see what's going on with the show. But I think that's something that maybe we should keep in mind in the next few episodes and say, well, maybe they should have just left it as a 2-hour movie rather than do like a, 10 episode series. So that's my opinion there. Sorry. Still a little sick from this last week, and that's also why I didn't have many videos out, because I was really sick. But anyways, my last point here is the ending was a really shocking event. So again, I'm not going to spoil it, but it is a very big event that brought a lot of action and also reminded us that this is real. Right? And I think that's something that they didn't do that well with in the episode because, throughout the whole episode, it seemed like rather harmless. It was more just like threats than action. So there's a little bit of a dispute with the Dutton's cattle who roam onto native land rather than the ranch, right? And so there's a little dispute there, and they like hold up guns to each other, and it's all just threats. But this scene and this huge event kind of brings that back and says, no, this is actually real, and, people can really, really suffer from this. Again, I'm really not trying to spoil it here, but you can probably read through the lines here of what I'm trying to say. Anyways, so really just bringing consequences to the actions here, and I think that's a really important part to note in this premiere. I think that's an important part to note going forward in the show. So really good ending there that kind of brought it back up as the premiere, neared the end. So overall, just wrapping everything up here, is a visually appealing masterpiece with only one or two kind of likable, relatable characters. I would say, honestly, Luke Grimes and Kevin Costner, John Dutton and Corey Dutton, respectively. The rest of the characters are kind of they're not really likable. I mean, you don't really understand their motives. However, I mean, John and Corey Dutton's motives are very easy to understand, and that's where you kind of relate to them. So really good job with that, but the other characters, I don't really feel that. But some actors don't really come to the table with their performances. I feel like some of them just come up short, in my opinion, and the story may get old pretty fast. That would be kind of my main negative of this show, and that's why I kind of gave it kind of a lower rating. My rating for it is a 4.1 out of 5. So now, while it looks really good on screen, and you get a couple really good performances here, this story is going to get old pretty fast, and honestly, after the first 40 minutes, it got old to me. And that's just me again, maybe other people feel differently, but I just feel like, yeah, this tension between everyone is going to do whatever they can to keep what's theirs and, achieve their kind of goals and everything like that. But I think that's going to get kind of old pretty fast, especially if the Duttons keep getting what they want. So I think there's going to have to be something some events that go down in this series where the Duttons actually lose. And then that's going to kind of spark them to do more and everything like that. But in the premiere, we kind of got this theme as the Duttons get whatever they want, and they'll break the law, they'll do whatever they can to keep it and to get what they want. So, and they're kind of above the law. They set that kind of theme in this episode too. And I just think that's going to get pretty old pretty fast with this series, especially if it's like a 10 episode series going forward. Now, I'm just judging on the premiere. I haven't seen any other episodes, so maybe they actually straighten this out pretty fast, maybe even in next episode. But seeing the premiere, I think this is a big problem with the show, and that's one of the main reasons why the rating is a little bit lower than it maybe could have been. But anyways, rating 4.1 out of 5. I really suggest you guys check this out, even if you're not really a big fan of Westerns or a Taylor Sheridan fan. I think it's something that you should check out. I think Paramount Network, the work that they put into this, the writing by Taylor Sheridan, the performances by Kevin Costner, Luke Grimes, and some others really deserve the viewers, the audience, to check this one out. So I really suggest you check it out. And then, of course, tell me what you thought of it. Come back here, share your comments. Or if you have seen it already, share, what you thought of it. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, and everything, I'd love to hear it. But anyways, guys, that'll just about do it for this review of Yellowstone series premiere. I will have lots of videos coming out really shortly. It's going to be a packed summer for me already. My schedule is pretty much filled to the brim, so I'm really excited for it. Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. So again, thank you so much for watching this review. Thank you so much for the support on the channel. Really, really do appreciate it. I think we're at like 53,000 video views, something like that, 130 some subscribers. So really, really appreciate that. I can't thank you guys enough, honestly. So anyways, again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time in my next video.